Well friends, welcome you to this video tutorial. Today we will discuss TCA cycle and its regulation. This video is in continuation to the earlier video where we have discussed the conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A and its regulation. Today we will see onwards what will happen to the acetyl CoA which is formed and when it's fed to the TCA for further oxidation. So let's understand first what is basically this TCA. It's also known as the Krebs cycle, or it's also known as tricarboxylic acid cycle. It's a multi-step oxidative cycle which is completed in 8 steps, and it's responsible for complete oxidation of acetate group, and it produces several reduced coenzymes and carbon dioxide. It was British biochemist Sir Hans A. Krebs in 1937 who discovered this cycle of reactions. He worked on pigeon breast muscles, and he published the results in British journal Nature. You'll be surprised. The paper was returned back along with the rejection letter. But of course later on it was published, and for this excellent work he was awarded also the Nobel Prize. So he worked on pigeon breast muscles to observe complete breakdown of pyruvate. You know, breast muscles basically have the breast muscles of the pigeons have high oxidative metabolism. Prior to the Krebs, there was Albert A.G. in 1935. He has seen the oxidation of various compounds using suspension of pigeon breast muscles, and he noticed what he did. He noticed an increase in oxygen uptake on addition of certain C4 decarboxylic acids like succinate, fumarate and malate. So you are well versed that pigeon muscles, they have a very high oxidative metabolism, but earlier to Krebs also the work was done on it, but ultimately the Krebs presented it in the form of a cycle which is also named as the Krebs cycle. For this excellent work he was awarded Nobel Prize in 1953. This cycle is also named the citric acid cycle, as the first intermediate which is formed there is the 6-carbon citric acid. The discovery of citrate synthesis, that is a 6-carbon compound which is from a fixer compound OAA, oxaloacetic acid, enabled the Krebs to formulate a TCA cycle which revealed the metabolic oxidation of carbohydrates. Now see, this cycle is also named as tricarboxylic acid cycle, as citrate contains 3 carboxylic groups. It is operating within the mitochondrial matrix of all eukaryotic cells, and it is completed in 8 successive steps, beginning with the condensation of acetyl CoA, which is a 2-carbon compound, with C4 carbon compound which acts as an acceptor named as oxaloacetate, and in presence of an enzyme it will form citric acid, which is a 6-carbon compound. So citrate is subjected, then onward the 6-carbon compound is subjected to two successive decarboxylation and several oxidative events, leaving a 4-carbon compound succinate, from which again OAA or oxaloacetate is to be regenerated, because it is a reaction taking place in a cyclic form. Let us see the overview of the TCA cycle. See, pyruvate is there. We have seen the pyruvate decarboxylation to acetyl CoA, and there is formation of the this carbon dioxide, and reduced NAD is also there. Acetyl CoA is a 2-carbon compound. It's to be fed to this cycle, TCA cycle. The fixer compound here is the oxaloacetate, which is a 4-carbon compound. It will combine with this 2-carbon compound in presence of an enzyme we'll discuss later on, and there will be a formation of a 6-carbon compound that's called as citrate. That's why it's also named as the citric acid cycle. and then it will undergo 2 isomerization steps to form an cis-aconitate isocitrate, and then after from isocitrate there will be a decarboxylation dehydrogenation reaction, then formation of alpha ketogyltorate, then that will be again undergoing a decarboxylation reaction and dehydrogenation reaction. So 2 carbon compounds are evolved here and results in the formation of a succinate. Succinate is a 4 carbon compound. We have reached to the midpoint of this cycle, and from succinate there will be formation of succinyl coenzyme A, and there will be a substrate level phosphorylation in plants in the form of ATP, as phosphorylation of ADP to ATP, or phosphorylation of GDP to GTP in case of animal cells. So then succinyl coenzyme is changed to fumarate, fumarate to malate, and there is a reduction of FAD, and then malate regenerates the oxaloacetate. Of course, there is also the reduction of NAD, and oxaloacetate, which is a 4 carbon compound, is regenerated. That will be now again used for the next acetyl CoA to go for the cyclic reactions. So we will see in the overall cycle, if 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme or 1 molecule of acetyl coenzyme is fed to this cycle, there will be release of 2 carbon molecules. This is the overview of the TCA cycle. We will see it in a stepwise manner, and then we will see its regulation also. So what is the mechanism of Krebs cycle or TCA cycle? As I said, it is completed in following successive steps. First is the formation of the citrate. Citrate is a tricarboxylic acid cycle. We have seen there is an oxaloacetate which is there as a fixer compound. There will be a reaction taking place in presence of an citrate synthase, where 2 carbon compound, which is acetyl CoA, will be undergoing a condensation reaction, aldol condensation reaction, and with 4 carbon oxaloacetic acid in presence of an enzyme citrate synthase. And there is formed a transient molecule also, that is called as the cityl coenzyme A. But then release of the coenzyme A, there will be the formation of the 6 carbon compound, that's called as the citrate or the citric acid. In citrate synthase is a gateway to the TCA cycle, as it catalyzes the first reaction, forming a transient cityl CoA, which further undergoes hydrolysis, releasing CoA as is here, and then forming a citric acid. So a 4 carbon decarboxylic acid, that is this oxaloacetate, is converted to 6 carbon tricarboxylic acid. That is the first stable intermediate which is produced from this cycle. Next is the formation of isocitrate. As I said, there will be 2 isomerization reactions in presence of an enzyme aconitase hydratase, which catalyzes the isomerization of citrate to the isocitrate. So we have a citrate that will be in presence of an aconitase. There is loss of water, and at the second point there is the addition of the water. So it involves 1 dehydration and 1 hydration, and aconitase helps us in attainment of the equilibrium between citrate, isocitrate, and cis-aconitate. So almost they belong to the same metabolic pool, but the net result will be the formation of the isocitrate. These are the isomerization steps. Next, we'll see what will happen to this isocitrate. Isocitrate will undergo dehydration in presence of an enzyme isocitrate dehydrogenase requiring cofactor manganese. It occurs in 2 steps. The first step is the formation of the ketone oxalosuccinate and reduced NAD. The intermediate oxalosuccinate is not released from the enzyme, and this is also unstable. So we'll see this isocitrate in presence of an isostate dehydrogenase, NAD is reduced to NADH. In presence of manganese cofactor, there will be formation of an oxalosuccinate with a manganese complex. That means oxalosuccinate is not released there. What will happen to this oxalosuccinate? There will be the formation of alpha ketogyltarate from it. Under beta decarboxylation of oxalosuccinate, it will produce alpha ketogyltarate. So there will be a release of carbon dioxide now. That is decarboxylation. And manganese holds transiently formed oxalosuccinate, which is unstable during dehydrogenation and enol formation during decarboxylation. But ultimately what's happening? Oxalosuccinate undergoes decarboxylation in presence of an enzyme isocitrate dehydrogenase to form a 5-carbon alpha ketogyltarate. So there is a formation of alpha ketogyltarate. What will be the next reaction? That is the oxidative decarboxylation of alpha ketogyltarate. This alpha ketogyltarate, in presence of an reduced coenzyme, it is in presence of an enzyme alpha ketogyltarate dehydrogenase, which is almost an analog of the PDH complex, analogs to PDH complex. There will be formation of succinyl coenzyme A. That is 5-carbon alpha ketogyltarate undergoes simultaneous dehydrogenation and decarboxylation in presence of an enzyme alpha ketogyltarate dehydrogenase complex. The reaction in the enzyme is analogous to the PDH complex, and there is a formation of a succinyl coenzyme A, which is a 4-carbon compound. Now what will happen to it? That is a formation of a succinate. This succinyl coenzyme A will be now converted to succinate. It's hydrolyzed to 4-carbon succinate in presence of an enzyme succinyl thiokinase or succinyl CoA synthetase. And CoA is released back, and the thioester bond of this makes succinyl coenzyme A an activated intermediate. As a result, in presence of this inorganic phosphate, the energy released by the thioester bond is hydrolyzed. When thioester bond is hydrolyzed, energy is released, and that energy liberated during the process is used for substrate level phosphorylation. That is, this and this will be a couplet reaction. As a result, ADP with inorganic phosphate, it will be coupled. There will be formation of an ATP in case of the plant cells. But if it is an animal cell, that time inorganic phosphate will combine with GDP, guanosine diphosphate, and will form the guanosine triphosphate. And there will be also the formation of the succinate. In animal mitochondria, ATP may be formed now. Then GTP, which is formed there, maybe it is to be formed, it is be converted to ATP. In animal mitochondria, it may be formed from transfer of phosphate from GTP to ADP in presence of a nucleoside diphosphate kinase. That's a further reaction. And this reaction is reversible. So what we have seen the formation of a 4-carbon compound, succinate. If you will see at this point, the 2-carbon acetyl group, which was added to this cycle, is almost gone. So it's a midpoint of the cycle. What will happen to the succinate now? There will be an oxidation of succinate. Succinate is to be oxidized to fumarate. It will take place in presence of an enzyme succinate dehydrogenase. And this dehydrogenase, a double bond is inserted into a saturated hydrocarbon chain. There is a double bond association. And this succinate dehydrogenase is a flavoprotein enzyme. And in TCA cycle, this succinate dehydrogenase is the only enzyme bound to the inner mitochondrial membrane. And it is a flavoprotein. And you know, FAD is a strong oxidizing agent bound covalently to active site of succinate dehydrogenase. So it's a strong oxidizing agent. It's bound to this. It's reduced to this. That's why FAD is a better oxidizing agent than NAD. Oxidation of succinate by electron acceptor of succinate dehydrogenase is 16 kilocalories, which is favorable to FAD. So FAD will be reduced to FADH2, and there is a formation of the fumarate. What will happen to the fumarate next? Hydration of fumarate will take place there. It will be catalyzed by fumarase, and a malate will be formed there. It's a 4-carbon compound. Now what will happen to the malate next? Oxidation of malate. Oxidation of malate, it is the final oxidation step of the TCA cycle. Malate is oxidized to oxaloacetic acid. That is the regeneration now. Malate is to be converted back to the oxalo. That is the regeneration of the oxaloacetate. So malate is oxidized to oxaloacetate in presence of an enzyme malate dehydrogenase. NAD is reduced to NADH plus H positive. And so there will be a regeneration of OAA that can accept and condense another molecule of acetyl-CoA to repeat the cycle. So this was when one acetyl-CoA is fed to the cycle. Then there are other acetyl-CoAs, because pyruvate is converted into 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA. And likewise, cycle is to be repeated, and there is to be the generation of oxaloacetic acid for the next reaction to take place. So if you will sum up these reactions by this cycle, we have seen so far their oxaloacetic acid, which is a 4-carbon compound, acts as a fixer molecule. In presence of acetyl-CoA, which is a 2-carbon compound, coenzyme is released. In presence of this enzyme, citrate synthase, and in presence of water, there is production of 6-carbon compound that's called as a citric acid. And then this will undergo 2 isomerization steps. One in presence of an aconitase, where water is removed, there is formation of cis-aconitic acid. And the second, when water is added to it, there is formation of isocitric acid. Next is it is changed to oxalosuccinic acid, which is a complex, which is not basically a stable product. So it's with the enzyme isostrate dehydrogenase. And then it will be changed in presence of isostrate dehydrogenase to alpha ketogyltarate. There is the release of carbon dioxide and first decarboxylation reaction. Next, alpha ketogyltarate is changed to succinyl coenzyme A. There is dehydrogenation reaction, there is decarboxylation reaction, and then there is one more succinyl CoA is changed to succinate, and in presence of a coenzyme, and in presence of this one succinyl CoA synthase, where a substrate level phosphorylation is taking place there. In case of the plants, there is a formation of an ATP. In case of the animal cell, there is a formation of the GTP. And then succinate changed to fumarate in presence of FAD, which is reduced, and in presence of a succinate dehydrogenase. And then fumarate changed to malic acid in presence of an enzyme fumarase. And then malic acid back to oxaloacetic acid in presence of malate dehydrogenase. So there will be the next cycle, that's the repeat. The cycle will be repeated when the one more acetyl coenzyme enters into the cycle. So it occurs in the cyclic. This is the overall view of the TCA cycle, or which is also called as the Krebs cycle. Now we will see the overall equation. What will be the overall equation? Overall equation is per 2 turns of TCA cycle, because 2 acetyl coenzyme are entering into it. There will be 2 acetyl CoA which will enter in the cycle. 4 water molecules will be used. 6 NAD will be used. 2 FAD will be used. 2 GDP in case of the animal cell, and 2 ADP in case of the plant cell, and 2 inorganic phosphates. There will be release of 4 carbon. There will be 6 NADH reduced, NAD reduced. There will be 2 FAD reduced, there will be formation of 2 GTP, and the coenzyme is released back. This is the overall equation. So whatever is produced here, this is produced here, this is produced here, this is of course an oxidative substrate level phosphorylation. These will be fed to the electron transport chain for oxidative phosphorylation, so that they will generate ATP molecules. That will be our next topic, next video. So what are the important points about the Krebs cycle? We have seen it is strictly aerobic in nature, though there is no direct participation of oxygen. But oxygen is needed because NAD and FAD regeneration is very important. When NAD reduced and FAD reduced, it is fed to the electron transport chain, then it to the oxygen. In presence of oxygen, then it will be regenerated. That's why NAD and FAD required for operation of the cycle can be regenerated in respiratory chain in presence of an oxygen. That's why we say that it is aerobic, though oxygen is not directly used there. And we say also Krebs cycle is amphibolic in nature. That is, shows both catabolic and anabolic reactions. So catabolic reaction we have seen, the main catabolic reaction is the oxidation of acetate to carbon dioxide and storage of energy in the form of reduced coenzymes like NAD reduced, FAD reduced. So Krebs cycle also is an open cycle. Open cycle is almost, it's also named as the metabolic traffic circle. You see in a traffic circle, middle circle, and then there are the connecting links. Same way it is also making the some of its intermediates serves as the precursors for metabolic branch point reactions connecting the other pathways. That's why we say that TCA is basically an open cycle reaction. It's not a closed cycle reaction. And there are anabolic reactions taking place here. For example, oxaloacetic acid and alpha-ketoglytarate are used in the synthesis of amino acids. This is the anabolic part of it. Or succinyl coenzyme in heme synthesis and citrate in fatty acid synthesis. Acetyl-CoA in phenol and anthocyanin synthesis. That's why it's also called as amphibolic. It has a catabolic character as well as an anabolic feature. That these reactions are taking place in presence of these inhibitors. It has been successfully proved by using several respiratory inhibitors. So malonate, as I said, it inhibits the succinate dehydrogenase. The addition of any intermediate like fumarate, malonate, or OAA results in the accumulation of the succinate. That proves it is cyclic nature. And you see, in terms of carbon budget, if you will see TCA cycle, it was thought to be completed at the succinate stage because 2 carbon dioxide molecules have been evolved there. As acetyl coenzyme was a 2 carbon, they have been given out here. But by taken way of acetyl CoA equals to the CoA carbon dioxide evolved. But in terms of oxidation, cycle is half finished at succinate because out of 8 electrons, only 4 electrons have been released so far. So that means this is not a midpoint by way of. After understanding the different aspects of the TCA cycle, let's understand the regulation of the TCA cycle now. As you see, like other cycles, this cycle is also regulated by number of the enzymes, and it is also regulated by either by the substrate or by the end products. So TCA cycle is sensitive both to the substrate accumulation or to an end product accumulation. And it is also regulated by certain regulatory parameters. As we know, there can be a ratio between NADH to NAD, ADP to ATP, acetyl-CoA to free CoA, acetyl-CoA to succinyl-CoA, and citrate to OAA. That means it depends upon the status of the cell. If a cell is having more of the energy, is having surplus of the energy, that time the cycle is to be inhibited. If there is less of the energy available and demand is more, that time cycle has to be in an active form. So there are 3 regulatory enzymes, as there is one that's called as citrate synthase, isocitrate dehydrogenase, alpha-ketoglytarate dehydrogenase, and there are 2 enzymes which are outside the cycle. These are within the cycle. And there are 2 enzymes which are outside the cycle as pyruvate dehydrogenase and pyruvate carboxylase. So that means these 3 enzymes play a very regulatory role in the TCA cycle. This one enzyme, that is the citrate synthase, as it is inhibited by ATP, NADH, acetyl-CoA and succinyl-CoA. That means if there is more energy available, more production of reduced NAD, that time this citrate synthase will be negatively inhibited. There will be a negative allosteric modulation to this, and it will stop its functioning. And likewise, there is an isocitrate dehydrogenase. It's activated by ADP. Whenever there is more of the activity going on, more demand of the cell, the cell energy demand of the cell is increasing, that time more ATP is converted to ADP, and isocitrate dehydrogenase is to be activated. So it will be activated by ADP, and in case if there is more energy now, vice versa, it will be inhibited by ATP and NADH reduced. So this enzyme, it's highly regulated enzyme and determines the pace of the TCA cycle. Likewise, there is a third enzyme, alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. It is inhibited by succinyl-CoA. If there is an end product accumulation, succinyl-CoA is the end product to this. If that is accumulated, or there is an increase in reduced NAD, that time this enzyme will be inhibited. So as I have explained, that excess of the ATP depicts the energy rich state of the cell. What will happen that time? TCA cycle is inhibited. Is a demand and supply. So whenever there is more ADP are available, that is when cell is low energy, in a low energy state. So it favors activation of TCA. That time there has to be more of the energy produced, and it will result in the activation of the TCA. So here we will see how this overall regulation of TCA cycle is taking place, and how this cycle is cyclic in nature. See, first of all, let's finish the regulation part of it. As I have already mentioned, that regulation, this TCA cycle is regulated by three enzymes: citrate synthase, isocitrate dehydrogenase and malate dehydrogenase. So there can be a positive modulation or the negative modulation of these enzymes. See, in case if the process is taking place, there is a production of more ATP, NAD reduced, acetyl coenzyme A, succinyl coenzyme A. That time it will inhibit the citrate synthase. There will be no formation of the citrate. And then in addition to this enzyme, which is inhibited by this, the isocitrate dehydrogenase, as it plays a very regulatory role in the TCA cycle, if there is, it can be activated by ADP as well as the calcium. That is when there is a more exercises taking place, more ATP will be used, resulting in the production of more ADP, and there more calcium can be produced there, and that will have a positive effect on the isocitrate dehydrogenase. That means more energy will be produced there. But reverse is the case if there is more NADH produced, and that means it's a well-fed condition, and that time this NAD, reduced NAD, will have an effect, have a negative allosteric modulatory effect on the isocitrate dehydrogenase, and also it will have a negative effect on the malate dehydrogenase. So there is one more enzyme which is having an effect, that is the alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. This can be, the enzyme can be inhibited by succinyl coenzyme, that is the end product inhibition, or there can be a more NADH produced that will also have an effect, negative effect on the alpha-ketoglutarate. So that means this cycle is regulated by three enzymes: citrate synthase and isocitrate dehydrogenase, alpha-ketoglutarate and also malate dehydrogenase can be inhibited by means of the production or more production of NAD reduced. So in addition to the regulation, this figure also explains that how this cycle is in a cyclic, works in a cyclic manner. there's a direct proof, as there have been certain inhibitors which have been used. One such inhibitor is the malonate, or fluoroacetate is another inhibitor. See, inhibitor here, malonate is a competitive inhibitor for succinate dehydrogenase. So they used this malonate as an inhibitor, and after the addition of any of these intermediates like fumarate, malate, oxaloacetate, there has been the accumulation of the succinate. Point clearly, it clarifies this, that if malonate acts as a inhibitor for this enzyme, if it is in cyclic manner, these are converted in a cyclic reactions back to succinate. So there is an accumulation of the succinate. So that it is clearly making you understand that the TCA cycle is working in a cyclic manner, because you are blocking this enzyme and you are adding these intermediates, and you will see there is an accumulation of the succinate. So we have seen in this diagram how regulation is taking place, and also how this inhibitors are used to prove the cyclic nature of the TCA. I hope you have understood this video. Till the next video, goodbye. Thank you.